know how it feels. It's hard to see a way that all this brokenness could heal. The world can be ugly, can knock me down to my knees. But while I'm there, I still have a prayer. As long as my heart beats, I'm still alive. So there is good to find. I will lift my eyes and sing 1,000 times. Amen. Every day I say amen to all the ways that people are helping people, making space at the table, and I'm finding little bit of that kindness. There's still good in the crazy world we're living in. To that I say amen. My head can get clouded, my thoughts can get loud, but I can see in the little things, the way you work the big things out. Can't be all that wrong, cause I still know I've got this song. There's one thing I know, all the good's not gone. Amen. Every day I say amen to all the ways that people are helping people, making space at the table, and I'm finding a little bit of that kindness. There's still good in the crazy world we're living in. To that I say amen. Amen. Every day I say amen to all the ways that people are helping people, making space at the table. I'm finding a little bit of that kindness. There's still good in the crazy world we're living in. To that I say amen. Oh, 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 oh. To that I say amen. Oh, oh, oh,
I love that song.
right?
Amen. Who
And
the amen, the translation of that is and so it is, or the meaning of to be, right? It is to be. I'm affirming. So often I've at least grown up for me when we would say amen, I think it was basically handing it to God, like, oh, please do what you need to do. But it's not, it's really an affirmation of what you've said is true. So so that song has such great meaning.
so she's the same artist that did the song I've done before, Grateful.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yes.
grateful for. I think that I don't usually listen to a lot of Christian artists, but I feel like she really makes spiritual music accessible, like very
Uh-huh.
pop friendly, versus some of the other stuff that's a little more, little far for me. But this I like. I feel like this is very universal, no matter what your faith is, and so I think she does a really great job of that kind of music.
Well, thank you. You did a really great job of that. You didn't take a moment to introduce yourself. So, everyone, this is Laura Wiley, who is our musician of the day. We're so happy to have her with us. So, good morning to you. I'm assuming you're joining us from Southern California.
I am. I'm back in town. The only reason I don't always say my name on Zoom is because it's listed, but you never know. Like some people have stage names. I've always liked my name because the character Wile E. Coyote, so I've
Uh-huh.
always kept mine. But yeah, I just got back from traveling. I was just in Nashville for a Piano Women convention, and then before that, I just spent the weekend with Yaron in Provincetown,
Oh,
playing,
how fun.
which was really fun. So very rich.
Good, 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 good. Well, I'm glad you're here today, and I know you have some really fun, creative music for us, and I look forward to that in a moment. And we're going to kick off and begin, and then we'll do Calling in the Light in just a bit. So, see you in just a second.
You know.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I say good morning, operating under the, I don't know if it's an assumption or a reality of where I am in the morning. It is in the morning. It is morning at where I am at present as I'm coming live to you. It is morning. It's 10:34 a.m. Pacific time here in Southern California, the same geographic region as Laura Wiley. And I know that we have individuals joining us today from far and wide. And so wherever you may be, let's all trust and agree together that we're defining it morning in the sense as morning is the opportunity for a new beginning. As the sun rises and we start anew, let's all agree to do that together today, and to do that for the purpose of honoring the creative power that exists within each and every one of us that responds to us by our state of mind. And so we choose a state of mind today that is welcoming, that's celebratory, that is easy peasy, and also purposeful. And so wherever you may be, let's know that the divine is expressing in all of its glory. And to that, as the song said, I say amen. And so welcome. I'm going to begin with our opening slides for this morning. And we are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. As a community, we've come together now for 36 years, and we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you metaphorically when we are in this technological sense of Zoom and YouTube and on our website of a later date, but in person as well when we come together. But more importantly, we want you to know that as a community, we support you just as you are in expressing your authenticity and your individuality. I've said many times that one of my favorite Ernest Holmes quotes is, "Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you." I speak of Ernest Holmes, who's the individual who was the facilitator of the teaching of the science of mind, meaning he's the revealer that put it in documented form. That is what we practice primarily here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. One of the great tenets of this teaching is that our word has power. We use it with purpose and with intent. It radiates and vibrates out into the universe, and as the universe responds in the way that it always does by providing a corresponding experience, it returns that to us, which we have chosen it to be. So I invite us all to use our voice together and choose for it to be powerful and inviting and loving and respectful as we say this affirmation together that's on the screen. We welcome one and we welcome all. As I said before, our vision statement is supporting individuals on their journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. This great vision statement of our community has deeper meaning to me and broader meaning to me the more and more that I repeat it, because our word has power, and responding to the multitudes of times that it has been spoken. And so today I invite you to look at that screen with the statement of the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, and see what meaning it may have for you, and allow yourself to not let that be an intellectual meaning, but a visceral one, where you feel the power and the presence that is indwelled within each of us. And let it bring forth an awakening. As we hear those words again, the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. A way to do that is to open up to our morning ritual called Calling in the Light anew today. And looking on to the screen as we see the flickering flames of the candle, letting them ignite and reignite a broadening awareness within our heart, soul, and being. And then light this candle, using what's on the screen as a virtual candle, for that what's called the flames of faith, opening our mind to a greater sense of our oneness with all of life itself. And so today we light this candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path known as the natural way, as well as for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, that which is known as the way of primal spirituality. And for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. And for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Continuing to expand our vision this morning, the candle that we light virtually as we call in the light is for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion, as well as all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love, and for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling, and for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace, as well as for all forms of New Thought, that which we practice here, CSL-LA, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We bring all that together and focus our energy and declare this virtual candle that we've lit to be the healing candle. Dr. Ernest Holmes says that healing is the revealing of wholeness. And so I invite you to take a moment and to think of someone or something that you would like to put into the light of the healing flame, which may, and I encourage to include yourself, so that all may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. And hear this prayer of protection. And when I say the word God, let's let it be at a minimum just the light that is within us that we just illuminated through that ritual. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me. The mind of God guides me, while the life of God flows through me. The laws of God direct me, and the power of God abides within me. The joy of God uplifts me as the strength of God renews me. The beauty of God inspires me, and I know wherever I am, God is. Let's just allow that to be a truth for us as Laura comes on and takes us through the song Calling in the Light. It's a call and response song, and I invite you to sing along. The lyrics to the call and response part is on the screen.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. I am love, I am peace in my heart. I am free, I am spirit, I am soul. All together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Yes, with love. And so it is. So Laura, what song do you have for us next?
So I was thinking about vitality, and the very first song that came to mind for me was this one. For any people who love 90s music, this was kind of my anthem of that era. So
Uh-huh. What's it titled?
You Gotta Be.
Got it.
I think you'll recognize it. Listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. A Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to try. You gotta be bad. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard. You gotta be tough. Gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool. You gotta be calm. You gotta stick together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mother said. Read the books your father read. Try and solve the puzzles in your own sweet time. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, hey, hey, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know, love will save the day. Don't ask no questions, goes on without you. Living you may hide if you can't stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. Ask not if danger's staring you in the face. Oh, oh. Listen as your day unfolds. Challenge what the future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my. Hey, hey, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know, love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stick together. All I know, love will save the day.
A song we do all recognize, yes. And the chats were going on of how everybody loves that song, both on Zoom and on YouTube, how they all just love it. So,
Very
say it's
cool.
one of the most positive melodies that there is. So, good. I love it. Well, thank you.
See ya.
Yeah. And another hello to everyone and welcome. And so, on this Sunday, as we're in the depths of August, if you will, I made a decision today about the message that we're going to share. I'm going to share. I'm going to read to us a talk that was written and given by our founding minister, Dr. David Walker, quite some time ago. And I've shared it a couple of years ago, and it's titled, Can You Take the Heat? And I'm going to read it pretty much verbatim. And so I invite you, wherever you may be, to just relax into where you are and just take in these words. And I also invite you to open your awareness that if you knew Dr. Walker, to be appreciative of what he shared and the wisdom that he shared, and that he started this community together, as well as to know that you're going to hear languaging and phrasing from more 20th century metaphysics than we use here. All of a sudden, my printer started doing something, so maybe David Walker is channeling himself through the printer. The know that things are going to be a little bit different than the language that I use oftentimes, but I invite you to just allow the multidimensionality of what's being said here, what's been written, to have impact for you, for it to invite in a spiritual awakening, and to be deeply appreciative of the journey that anyone has been on since this talk, whatever year it was originally given, and certainly in the last 2 years since I read it last time. And just allow yourself to know that there's something, as David would say himself, there's a salient point speaking to you. Try not to analyze what it is, allow yourself to feel it. In my preparation of reading it, I tuned into deep appreciation for the journey of my life and of all the 20th century metaphysics that I've been a part of, and where we all are today. And Know that there is deeper multidimensional meaning in everything if we allow ourselves to open up and let it present itself. Why is that? Because in our philosophy, faith, and way of life, we're taught that there's really only one thing ever taking place, and it's not bound by time or space. So without further ado, let's move into the talk. Can you take the heat? By Dr. David Walker. I think I can safely say that everybody wants more out of life. Where we differ from most people is that we realize that to get more out of life, you have to put more into life. A healthy mind doesn't expect something for nothing in this universe. It knows that for every cause there is an effect, and for every effect there is a cause. I'm going to repeat that. A healthy mind knows that for every cause there is an effect, and for every effect there is a cause. If you and I want more out of life, we must cause that more with our thought. We must have aspirations and know that we're equal to them, equal to our aspirations at both ends. Now, he would chuckle when he would say that because there's a double entendre there. But I'm going to say it again, equal to our aspirations at both ends. We're equal to them before they appear, and that's why they appear. And we're equal to our aspirations after they appear. And that's why we can handle whatever occurs in life. I'm going to repeat that piece again. We must have aspirations and know that we're equal to them. Equal to our aspirations at both ends. We're equal to them before they appear, and that's why they appear. And we're equal to our aspirations after they appear. And that's why we can handle whatever occurs. You see, the consciousness that is able to cause something must also be able to, one, keep it, and two, deal with it effectively. We're not just treating, in this context, treating means spiritual mind treatment, affirmative, conscious, purposeful prayer. We're not just treating for, let's say, enough money to get by this month. Why? We'll have to deal with the issue of money all over again next month. Now, he may be talking about health or job or love or whatever the case may be, relationships, but you get the context, right? Because let's say we're not treating, in other words, doing that affirmative prayer for a job to get us through till Christmas. Why? Because it won't be long before we'll be looking for another job. We're looking in this journey to establish a mental foundation that is one, well-rounded, two, fully developed, and three, secure. I'm going to step off for a second. Imagine yourself right now in whatever aspiration you may have or aspiration that you know is within you ready to be had. That in that context, we need to establish a mental foundation that's well-rounded, fully developed, and secure. Well, what does that mean? He goes on to say well-rounded. Well-rounded in this context means to develop the consciousness of everything. It's a big call. Develop the consciousness of everything. That every person ought to be well, happy, loving, and prosperous. Fully developed means not just enough to get us through this relationship, this job, this money, this crisis, this bout with help, but a fully developed consciousness that causes a continuity of good in every area of our life. Well, how do we do that? First, by knowing that it's possible, I believe. We must then have a consciousness that is secure, a consciousness that doesn't waver because of what's happening in life. Anybody relate to that at this stage in their life? A consciousness that doesn't waver because of what's happening in life. He goes on to tell us we're looking to establish a mental foundation that can move up the ladder of success and take the heat. So I ask you, he writes, are you developing this kind of consciousness? Are you working with your own mind in a definite way, always moving towards greater success and the ability to handle whatever comes along effectively? Well, what does effectively mean? It means that it doesn't cause you angst, that you continue to have a self-assuredness that your mind is constantly being more and more fully developed. He goes on to ask us, are you causing the success you want? And can you take the heat that goes with this? Now, I love that he's playing with this word heat this way. And he goes on to say, let's define the word heat this way. The issues that exist in the new experience that then make a greater demand on us. So let's all just take a moment and tune into the aspirations that are stirring up within us and know that whatever they may be, because change is drawing forth that which is new, that can create some heat. Heat of what? A fear of it not happening, fear of it happening, of letting go of what was, opening up to what can be. That's how he is defining the heat. Can you handle the heat? The issues that come up, and he's not saying they're all negative, by the way, the issues that come up in the new experience that make a greater demand on us. Can you take the heat is like asking oneself, can you deal effectively with all the issues that exist in the demonstration or the manifestation that you're causing to happen when you deal with an effectively fully developed mind? And what we want in this question is to be able to answer yes. Yes, because we're developing a consciousness that never leaves its awareness of being a part of divine mind. Let's take that in. He's saying, can we take it? Can we deal effectively with all that's going to unfold with our aspiration becoming a reality? And we want ourselves to be able to answer yes to that, because not only yes as an aspiration as well, but yes because of a declaration and a realization of what we're doing in this journey of developing our mind, of having a fully developed mind, of developing a consciousness that never leaves the awareness of being part of divine mind. Why? Because this divine mind he speaks of is that God that I spoke of earlier in the protection prayer. God, he goes on to say here, in and as you, causes the success by means of your thought. Couldn't get more 20th century metaphysics than that. God, in and as you, causes success. Success, we defined earlier, is being able to take that heat, right? It's having that fully developed mind. And it's all a result of our thought. God, in and as you, is equal to whatever comes along. Therefore, it can deal with it effectively. He's broadening his perspective here. God, in and as you, is equal to whatever comes along, therefore can deal with it effectively. Now, what kind of issues are there to deal with as we move into a greater experience of success? He goes to tell us a story around this. He said, several years ago, I met a man who said, I got the promotion I wanted, but after getting it, I realized that the tension at that level is too much for me. There's too much competition, too much conflict, and too much strain. And I feel too vulnerable in this new job. Was he right? Did those issues exist? Sure they did. Did he feel vulnerable? No doubt. Did he cause his new success? Of course. What's wrong with this picture? He forgot that the thing in him which created the aspiration towards greater success is the same thing which fulfills that aspiration by being equal to everything that comes along. And I might add, is also the same thing within him that can think differently and create something new. Dr. Walker takes a little bit of a left turn here and goes, when we were about 4 or 5 years old, we wanted to play with the big kids. So after much badgering, the big kids let us play. But in about 10 minutes, we find ourselves running away crying that some great injustice has been done. The great injustice depends on the game. What happened? Some kids may be able to take the heat, but not us. This is quite normal for child's play, but make sure you don't take this way of operating into adulthood. Now, this doesn't mean in life as adults don't go out and play so you won't get hurt. It doesn't mean don't have any aspirations so you won't have to face the heat. It means tune in and create the aspiration and know that whatever it may be, you are equal to it. and that every plateau, in mind, of course, requires more of us. But to always remember the thing in you which causes the greater demand also meets it. So let's take a moment and just take that in and just allow ourselves to feel and hear the concept of that which is within us, which is causing us to desire more, want more. And more doesn't necessarily mean in quantity in life. More can mean quality. It can be a more, in fact, I encourage it to be a more reflection of the qualities that we're imbued with: peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And to continue to remember, and what spoke to me when I read this and reread it and reread it and read it and reread it before this morning, was this returning to this foundational component of our teaching, which is the thing in you which causes the greater demand is also the thing in you that meets it. It's not necessarily that they're synonymous. He's telling us that it's the same thing. The same thing is the power. It is the power of mind. It's the power of the mind, creative mind, infinite mind, and your mind and my mind. For our mind is a part of that which is the mind itself, which knows all things, is all things, and is that which is drawing forth from its own well and reservoir of its infinite wisdom exactly what is required within us to both be causative to that which we desire, which is a new and different revealing in consciousness of who we are, as well as the manifestation, the demonstration, and that's the same thing that can observe and participate and experience in that demonstration, while also tweaking our perspective around it should we desire to use that as the plateau from which we grow and being causative to that which is next. So we go back to the original question he has as item 18 here on page 10. The question is, can we take the heat? In other words, do we have that within us, the mental and emotional and sometimes even intellectual and awareness to go through the journey of being consciously awake on the journey of being consciously awake? He goes on to tell us the answer to that. You see, the solution is not to try to convince ourselves that the heat doesn't exist. In other words, the effects of what's going to unfold. The solution is to see it for what it is and to be able to operate in an effective way. Now, there's all kinds of issues to fade, all kinds of heat on the way up. Can you take more responsibility? Can you take the heat of establishing a quicker response and working with a deadline? He's speaking metaphorically in regards to careers here. Can you take the heat of competition? You may say there is no competition, and this can be true for you, but can you take other people being competitive? Can you allow others to be competitive? He goes on to say, can you take the heat of these greater demands, greater understanding, greater discretion? We have to have discretion at every level of experience, but greater success demands it. What he's really talking about is fine-tuning our minds. He goes on then to give us an example and says, several years ago, I was chit-chatting with someone I didn't know very well, only to have someone come up to me at a dinner later and repeat what I had told that other person. You know what I learned at that moment? If you don't want to be quoted, don't say it. Are you able to overlook something, or do you feel the need to tell someone? He's talking about sharing our journey and dealing with discretion of either others, but also of ourselves, of just the journey of what can be private to us on this journey, and to know that once you vocalize something, it then has energy to it, and you run the possibility of, once you've affirmed it to anyone, that then being returned back to you. It's not always true, especially if you're dealing with someone in a private manner, but we get the point he's making. He goes, are you able to overlook something, or do you feel the need to tell someone? Look out for an inner need to tell someone, or one day it could work against you. Are you able to keep a secret? Can you take the heat of someone not approving of you? He's rambling a little bit here, but he's helping us develop the understanding of, as we participate in life, there will always be issues that go with that. A successful person, he says, has got to be able to separate the self from criticism and praise and know where they stand in their own mind. Do you know where you stand in your own mind? Or do you know where you stand in your own mind in regards to others' opinions of you? He goes on and says, can you take the heat of someone who seems to have it in for you? In that situation in life, do we confront this person? This depends on your consciousness. Whether we confront or not, the first thing we do is treat. He's hearkening back to tell us that what we must always do in every situation as we're continuing on this journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening and remembering that the thing within us that causes us to have aspirations is the same thing that allows us to be equal to them, that it is a mental activity. And then as science of mind students, our role here is to always come back to using or treating effectively our mind. He says in big bold letters here, the first thing to do is to treat and get clear. I still remember being in class with Dr. Walker, and he would always say to us that what's the most important thing at all times is clarity. And if we're not clear on what it is that we want our mind to be, then do our affirmative prayer work to be clear around being clear. He goes on to say, we treat, in other words, affirmative prayer, to know that we're divine mind conscious of itself. So I'll take a deep breath in and exhale and open up to feeling that spiritual truth that you and I are divine mind, God, conscious of itself. Conscious of being that which knows no obstructions, that which doesn't have to fight to protect itself, yet never shirks the responsibility of standing up for itself and what it believes in. This type of spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer will not necessarily eliminate the other people in life, but it will eliminate the experience of interference. To confront someone or confront something doesn't mean they need a good shaking to. A confrontation in this situation is a clarification of spiritual truth. I so remember having this conversation in ministerial school with Dr. Walker around the concept of confrontation. To confront something means to address it. And as mental students of mental healing, our role is to always then address it first and foremost in our mind and to align our mind with that which is within us, which is equal to everything that is both the causative and the observational piece to all of that, and to also remember that we have within us all that is required to navigate this journey of life and growth and evolution and success, and to remember that our role here is to open up and to let that which is within us make itself known in a new way. And the way to do that is to call forth it and to dispel anything that's not it. In other words, to affirm peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom and success. And to affirm that everything that's coming our way at every level, yes, has its own issues, and we're prepared and ready to deal with that. He says to us, you know, heat rises to the top. Therefore, the higher you go, the more there is to deal with. He's speaking of the evolutionary process of mind. Now, I didn't say the more problems there are. I said the more there is to deal with. You see, at every level, life has its own issues. And the wonderful thing is that along the way, consciousness is always preparing itself for the next step. A most important issue when it comes to being equal to the new experience is orderliness. But before we get into the orderliness, let's go back to consciousness is always preparing itself for the next step. This past Wednesday in our midweek morning meditation, I read from the book 365 that talked about spirit goes forth and prepares the way. But it goes forth and prepares the way equal to our awareness of it and our receptivity to it making itself known, reflective of its nature. In other words, as we're moving into the experience of it making its way before us and leading the way as us, the more and more we tune into its innate nature, the more and more our aura will appear in the room reflective of its nature. And so it all feels orderly and it feels divinely guided. Why? Because it is. Because it is. He then goes on to say a most important issue in the journey of spiritual awakening when it comes to being equal to the experience is orderliness. A man named Alan Cox, I don't think there's any mistake that the surname is the same as mine. A man named Alan Cox wrote a book called The Making of an Achiever. And in it he writes, all strong companies are known for quality products and good management of their people, but what they all share in common is orderliness. Can you take the heat, the demand for greater orderliness in your life? Or do you say, that's where it's a downfall in my life? The question isn't, are you saying, oh, that's my downfall? It's how long have you been saying, oh, that's my downfall? If you want greater success, you must be willing to put things in life in better order. What things? Everything. But most importantly and primarily, the mind. Your mind, the mind you're using, the business you're in, life itself. Emerson says, order is the first law of the universe. A person who can take the heat of greater success is a person who can disseminate and translate information into action. Disseminate what is pertinent, what isn't. How can I translate pertinent information into action? Oh, but I can't do that. Then you can't take the heat, he says. Or is it that you don't think you can take the heat? Well, if you think you can't, you can't. But the truth is, you can. And today is the day, and now is the time that you and I know that we're equal to the experiences we're causing so that we get on with the creative process in our life and cause more. Today is the day to not allow yourself to be a person who ends up saying, well, I tried. The people who succeed don't try. They do, and they keep doing until it pays off. Today, I want you and I to open up to this information, this wisdom of David Walker, which is a little different than what we're used to hearing, but also has salient information to remember that what he's calling forth for us is, in its most simple format, is to remember we're one with the mind of God, as the mind of God, expressing the mind of God, using the mind of God, and the mind of God, flipped over the microphone, and the mind of God is always there. And so our role in being, and as we think, so we create. So then to get clear and orderly in our mind on what it is that we want to think. And if we can't do that without judging ourselves, then what we're called to do is to be orderly around our willingness and openness for Spirit to tell us what it is that's ready to be made known in us. And then to trust that whatever is being called forth through us, which may be a bizarrely wild, expressive idea, one we didn't expect, to also know that that which is in our mind, that's being the aspiration, also is within our mind, equal to its experience, and that we have that which is within us already that is necessary to navigate the journey and the newness as it unfolds. I'm going to say thank you to Dr. Walker for all that he brought forth for us, through us, and provided, and to also know that wherever he may be on his journey of life, that he remembers that for himself, and that this little snippet in time that we've shared today has been a prompt. It's been an invitation. It's been an encouragement for all of us to go back to using the old school metaphysical, foundational, spiritual tools, while at the same time broaden ourselves to be open, to be open, to be open. And to remember with our theme for the month that vitality is happening through me, that all the energy that is required of you to reveal that which you desire, even if you're not aware of that desire, is already here. It's here. It's here, and it's expressing itself in all of its magnificence by means of you and by means of me. We begin by engaging in gratitude and being grateful for what was, and being grateful for the ability to be grateful, and to be grateful for the opportunity to be a co-creator in that which is to come. For what is to come is good, and so it is. Laura's going to come back and sing us another song.
All right. Hi, there I am. Well, I woke up to the sound of silence. The cars were cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a bottle of wine, your head in the curtains, your heart like the 4th of July. You swore and said, we're not shining stars. Yes, I know, I never said we are. Though I've never been through mess like that, I've closed enough windows to know you can never look back. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground, and carry on. Carry on, carry on. So I met up with some friends at the edge of the night, the par of 75. And we talked and talked about our parents will die, all our neighbors and wives. But I'd like to think I can cheat it all to make up for the times I've been cheated on. And it's nice to know when I was left for dead, I was found. I don't roam these streets, I'm not the ghost you want me to be. If you're lost and alone, and you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground, and carry on. Oh, my head is on fire, but my legs are fine. After all, they're mine. Lay your head on the floor, close the door, hold the phone, show me how. No one's ever gonna stop us now. Cause we are shining stars. We are invincible. We are who we are. On our darkest day, when we're miles away, sun will come, we will find our way home. And you're lost and alone, and you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground, and carry on. Carry on, carry on. Carry on, carry on. Carry on, carry on.
What a perfect song to remind us just to keep carrying on, no matter what, that we're to keep carrying on. It's really that simple. So
From
thank
do
you.
you know the band Fun?
No.
They they're the band that did the Tonight We Are Young. They're good on these like big kind of power anthems, and I like
Uh-huh.
them a lot. I like the line "We are invincible."
I like that. Yes, it's true. And that doesn't mean that we're going to war. It's just remembering what's within us, the power within us.
Yeah, we are. Because I always was of the mindset. I always was raised to believe that like we are in control of ourselves. You can't control
Uh-huh.
everything, but you can control yourself and how we respond and react to things.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, and really you can't even control yourself. You can control the you can control the you can it's not even control, it's about you can choose,
With your
right?
mindset.
You can choose and then ride that ride, right? So but I understand the intent of control. Yeah. So all right, so we'll see you in a bit. Take us out and let us there be peace on earth. So thank you all for being here today. A very laid back, easy peasy Sunday morning, just like Sunday morning. I appreciate you all for being here, and I know that exactly where you are in your life, that you heard exactly what you needed to hear today, and were inspired and are inspired. Whether it's to go and paint your room for your quilting room, like our Reverend Lenore is going to do, or just a remembrance of who you are as a divine being, or if it was it could be a reminder to go back to using foundational, fundamental components of our teaching, spiritual mind treatment, and that remembrance of the power that we're all imbued with. As well as if you were around our community when Dr. Walker was here and founding. I came here in 1991 and had just been here a couple of years, to just say thank you to all that came before us, to allow us to be where we are today. And where we are is in a perfect place. So a thank you to Laura for her music today. A thank you to Robert Hensley for monitoring us on Zoom and YouTube, and to Travis, our audio guy. I want to invite you all to support our community financially. You can do that by going to our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate, or use the app in the App Store, or mail in a check. Any of those would work. Or you can use Zelle as well for us. So know that all of that is appreciated. We have a weekly e-newsletter that goes out on Mondays. Hopefully you're availing yourself of that. All that can be signed up for either through the app or our website, csl-la.org. Again, a new thought text for the day every morning at 7:30, and our midweek morning meditations at Wednesday morning at 8:30 can be accessed. All of that through our website, and it's all online. And so we're going to close out today with, I'm going to give us a meditation, spiritual mind treatment. And then after that, Laura will come back and take us out with the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, which we can sing along. And then if you're on Zoom, we can stay on and say a brief hello to each other. And so without further ado, I invite you to close your eyes if that's safe and comfortable for you where you are. Just listen to this music for a moment. As we become conscious of our breath. I read something this last couple of days that said, we take our first breath when we enter into this life, and exhale our last one as we leave. What matters are all the breaths in between. And so I invite us to allow the breaths that we take right now to be a result of being purposeful and clear in its simplicity of just breathing as we inhale. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. And we repeat as we inhale. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. I invite you to hear these words in your soul. Today is the day, and now is the moment I choose to carry on. Today is the day that I open my heart and my soul to feel a greater presence of love. And as I speak in the I, I'm speaking for each one of us. So today is the day, and now is the moment that I choose gratitude for all that has come before this moment in my life. We inhale. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. Today is the day that I move up the rungs of the ladder of conscious awakening, of conscious evolution, of knowing who I am as a spiritual being navigating this life called humanity, and call forth through me a remembrance of who I am as a being of peace and power, of experiencing and expressing beauty and joy, of feeling the pulsation of life and light and love, and allowing myself to be guided by the wisdom that I'm imbued with as a being of the divine. And so for each of us, I call forth a new aspiration. Just feel it. Even if we don't know what it means in this moment, we can feel it churning within us, ready to make itself known. And so I declare for each of us that we know for ourselves that whatever it may be, that we have the power within us to be cause to it, to acknowledge it, to experience it, to deal with all facets of it, and to release it when the time is right, to attract in and manifest more. We are in the perfect and right place, individually and collectively, right here, right now. And growing and glowing and flowing and knowing as spirit itself. And so we thank you, Spirit, for going forth and preparing the way. We show up, ready, receptive, in tune, awake, alert. And so we carry on, and so it goes, and so it is. Amen. Laura's going to come on and take us out with the song, Let There Be Peace. I invite you to sing along. After that, we'll say goodbye to those of you on YouTube. And if you're on Zoom, we can stay on and say a brief hello. Laura?
Hi again. Let's do it. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.